We have two great commentators joining me on stage in a minute. The first one, Pablo Delgado, is the CEO of Mirai. So he was formerly based in Spain, where he ran Mirai, but has just moved to Miami. So he's a local boy. You might recognize that in his local accent. Pablo first built a booking engine, I think, back in 1998, when he was a computer developer, and took his first booking back then for Best Western in Spain. And since then has been building up Mirai, which really is a technology business first that's now added a lot of services. So great booking engine, also help hotels with Book on Google and meta search. There was a question earlier, and so he will be up in a bit. And one of the really important things to know about Pablo is if you're interested in reading blogs and reading content that's up to date and informative on what's going on in the world of direct bookings, his blog on Mirai is one you have to follow. It's an absolute must read. I'd even recommend going back through a load of the past articles. Okay, so that is Pablo. And then also we have Stuart Butler, who is the Chief Operating Officer of fuelmarketing.com. And Stuart is Fuel Marketing is a full-service agency, software provider for the hospitality industry. So they also provide a really good mobile booking engine, keyless entry, but also a whole host of marketing services. And the reason why I asked Stuart to come and take part in this is partly because this session was inspired by his excellent Fuel Marketing podcast, which I mentioned before. So my recommendation to you guys is sign up for Pablo's blog and make sure you download all the back episodes of Stuart's podcast. These two great commentators on direct bookings hopefully are going to teach us about the way they think that hotels should think about what to do first in direct bookings. Gentlemen. Okay, there they come. Great. I think you need to switch sides. Pablo, you're here. Stuart, you're there. I think you're this side, yes. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and build walls of direct booking initiatives. I don't know what your first couple would be, and then if you'd like to tell us why this is where you'd start and your approach, or maybe a few words on your approach first of all.
Where do you put them here?
Yeah, just put them here in front, and we'll see how you're lining up. And the idea is to see, who's putting what first, who's including which initiatives and taking out others. So I'll just give them a second while they do that. Anyone listen to the Fuel Marketing podcast? Yes. Any favorite episodes? That's quite a challenge. Number 81 is the one where they did a top 10. But actually I was listening to one yesterday I mentioned. It was a really good episode about important and urgent, and how the things that are important are never urgent, and the things that are urgent are never important. Oh, right, great. Oh, yes. It may have been, right. Highly recommend if you're thinking about where are the places we really need to invest. Okay, great. So Pablo, take us away. What are you starting with and why?
Sure. Well, I have chosen staff training and aligning incentives.
Oh, put those down just a little bit. Right.
Why? I think I've been working in direct booking for 20 years. And my experience has been that technology is not the main differentiator of driving direct bookings. You first need to solve few problems. But first two, staff training. Distribution has changed dramatically in the last years. You cannot pretend to sell directly with the same people that sold indirectly 20 years ago. I mean, you simply cannot do it. So you have two options. Either train them, recycle them, not once every year or every 2 years. This is a great opportunity, for instance. Or hire new people. I mean, you have two options. Just choose one, go for it. But not have the same people that you had 20 years ago or even 10 years ago. I just noticed that I'm doing different things every year, every single year. And second thing is, I think Don touched several points of my story, but aligning incentives, not only revenue and digital, but within revenue, there are offline, online. You can have the offline team selling rooms for groups, for corporate, for MICE, for tour operators, at the rates, at their room allotments, and the online with their own strategy. Not only revenue digital, but also the owner. If you don't have the owner on board, especially independent hotels, you will not last. Because driving direct booking, changing the distribution model is not easy, and you don't do it in 1 year. So if the owner doesn't buy it, you have a problem. So put all the people aligned, train your staff, and you can start. That's my approach.
And staff training, I guess for many people in hotels, they may feel, well, I'm no expert in revenue management or I'm no expert in digital. How do I deliver that? Apart from, obviously, the number one thing, make any new joiners read your blog and his podcast.
Well, I think there are lots of courses out there. And these events are very popular, not only here in Triptease, but there are many places that you can learn and talk to other hotels that do a great job and relate with others. I mean, you can learn being in front of your computer, working alone. So go out there, see who is doing best, talk to him, talk to her, and learn from him. These events, courses, online, there are a lot of podcasts, blogs, there are lots of resources, but you have to do something. I mean, the world is changing very fast, and we haven't touched meta search yet, but this is the next layer of complexity.
Yeah.
So you have to do something.
Okay, so all about starting with the people, start with
Absolutely.
understanding, start with incentives. Excellent. Stuart, hello.
Okay. So I was going to start with staff training. If you listen to episode 81 of the podcast, that was my number one, but just for the sake of being argumentative and entertaining for you guys, I'm going to switch it up. And with that said, I think that gives me the liberty to cheat a little bit, if that's okay. Okay? So what I went for, my base was a combination of website experience, booking engine experience, and human-assisted bookings. And how I interpret this is whether that's a phone center or whether that's a live chat. So basically, the foundation is opening up shop, giving people the ability to book your room. And the reason I cheated here and added 3 instead of 2 is I really feel like, and this was touched on earlier by Google, this website and booking engine experience should be one and the same. And I feel like some of the larger vendors in this industry have let us down because they don't integrate well with the website. When I click on the search widget, it goes to a completely different looking experience on a completely different domain. Maybe the tracking isn't working. But as was mentioned several times today, it creates a problem, especially on mobile, creates friction. So to me, this is really one. If that's okay, Charlie, you're going to let me
Yeah,
with
sure,
that?
sure.
Okay.
It's and your wall, you build it how you like.
All right, so this wall, the foundation is let's open up shop, give people the choice to book however they want. And the reason I kept the phone bookings in there is, as one of the slides showed earlier, 50% on average of bookings are still coming in via telephone call. So foundation is, I want direct bookings, I have to make them accessible. So that's the bottom.
Great, and on the phone, I think, I know Navis, I think, are here, who run outsourced calls for some hotels. Do you have a preference for, this is something hotels should be doing internally, outsourcing? What's the...
well, I think it depends, right? A lot of times it's going to depend on your situation. If you're a small property with limited staff, I don't think a solution like Navis is necessarily the right direction depending on your budget. But for a lot of more complex properties, if you have multiple properties, a large staff, then I think a tool like that is phenomenal. One, because you can tie everything back. With Navis, we integrate with our booking engine to Navis, and we're able to see both offline and online revenue from every source. And those tools also make your staff better, more intelligent, more efficient, better at serving the guest. And at the end of the day, it's always about the guest.
Okay, cool, great. Thanks, guys. Any comments, disagreements, questions so far? If not, we'll move on. Keep going, building the wall. Right, what's next?
Okay.
I feel like maybe if there's a spare mic, and then I will also take to the floor. Okay. Position. So I'm a bit worried already that if you get 5 high, it might fall over. But we'll deal with that when we get there. Okay.
Absolutely.
So what's next?
All right, so we have the people trained, we have the incentives aligned, so we're ready to start, right? Next problem, we are not in technology yet. We can choose best technology, but it will not work. We have huge problem here, parity management. You cannot do anything without controlling your price. So if you allow Trivago to do the stuff that Dan showed us in the ad, you're out. I mean, no loyalty programs, no Black Friday offers, nothing will work. Because all your clients will find best price somewhere else. So no matter what booking engine you have, what website you have, what meta search you're bidding in, nothing will work. Parity management, and on top of parity management, you have unique value proposition. You have to be the one offering something unique. Unique means whatever you want. Price, special rates, special room types, special views, early check-in, late checkout, champagne, beach chairs, whatever you want. You understand your client better than nobody else. So find something that your customer values and put it in your website. Transfer, for instance, in the Caribbean, the transfers are expensive, and many Americans don't trust taxi drivers. So put a transfer from Cancun airport to the hotel. That's $50 that you're saving.
Getting ready. Stuart.
Yeah, even though these words are different, I agree with everything you said, and this is sort of a similar layer. So again, I'm cheating a little bit, but so staff training, I encompassed, because we're limited to 10, I encompassed rate parity in there, I encompassed alignment in there, because if we're training our staff, we're training them on everything, which means that our revenue managers are getting trained on marketing, and our marketing team is getting trained on revenue, and more importantly, our staff are getting trained on how to treat the guest. And at the end of the day, everything we do should be centrally focused on the guest. So staff training from when they do pick up the phone, are they serving the guest well? Are they doing the best thing to convert that person to a direct booking? Are they being helpful, etc.? And then this to me is, to go back to Dan's presentation a little bit, analytics to me is something that we overlook a lot. You know, we rely on our third-party vendors to provide us with data in general, and I have to tell you that there's vendors out there that are, like Dan's kind of touched on, that are going to do attribution modeling that favors them, but maybe isn't entirely honest. Because I've seen situations where a property made $10,000 in a month from their vendors, and both vendors are claiming that they contributed $8,000 of that. So when you do the math, there's not an extra $6,000 sitting there. So analytics and having that nailed down before you start spending money to drive traffic is really, really critical. And the other part of analytics that I think can solve Dan's problem is if you have a set of KPIs, key performance indicators, or goals that are unified across and aligned across all of your staff, whether it's rate management, whether it's the marketing team, if you're all going for the same score sheet, then alignment happens naturally. You know, if you played soccer or hockey or some other game, and half the team came off and said, we won because we scored 7 goals, and the other came off and said, we won because we conceded 2 goals, right? It doesn't make sense because they're tracking different KPIs. So you have to get alignment between the whole team and say, what matters to us as a business? What matters to our customers? And it should be the same for every single individual on your staff. So that's why analytics and staff training form the second part of my foundation.
Great. Okay, thank you. Any comments, questions so far? That was a yawn, not a question. I saw an arm go up. Okay, great. We'll carry on. Okay, coming in. So finally, we're getting ready for technology with Pablo. Getting the humans and all that stuff ready first. It's key. Maybe content. Okay, taking a step up. This is where the things start to wobble. I feel like I need to give you a little support or something. Yeah. I don't know if that's going to work, but we'll try. Okay, like we're just trying new things here with Direct Booking Summit. We like to keep pushing boundaries. There we go. Okay.
It will work now, right?
There we go. Right. Okay, Pablo. Okay. Now what?
All right. So we are the time to choose the best technology. Website design. Hotels are obsessed with the website, with their website. And they don't realize that customers go to the hotel website just to sometimes just check the rates, sometimes just check the phone number, or some others check the map. But you think they're going and they're surfing the web, looking at the rooms, looking at everything, every single detail. The hotel owners or the employees at the hotel are the only ones checking the website more than 2 minutes, right? So get the proper website, a beautiful website that shows how you are unique compared to other hotels. First things your website needs to solve. And the second thing is how your direct channel is better than Booking.com or Expedia. So 2 single things to solve. Why your hotel is different than the other, and why your direct channel is better than Expedia. Once you solve those problems, forget about the rest. Of course, if you have like venues to host events, you have to put a section for that. But in terms of direct bookings, you just focus on these 2 things. A lot of pictures, a lot of video, best-in-class website. And booking engine. There are lots of booking engine technologies out there. There are Majority of them are very bad. But there are a few that are good. Choose one of them. And by good, I mean loyalty, I mean meta search integration, I mean views, different views, make simple the booking process, hiding the rates that don't make any sense for that customer. A couple of weeks ago, I tried because I finally did it through Expedia, I tried to book a hotel in Washington, D.C. I'm going with my family to D.C., and I just gave up. Why? Because the reason is I wasn't sure if I was booking with breakfast included. I wasn't sure. And I was going to call it the hotel, but I just gave up. Why? Because Expedia gave me exactly the same price. I was making an effort to book direct, and I just gave up and booked through Expedia. And the hotel now is paying 25% commission of that booking. It doesn't make any sense. So choose best web design and choose best or one of the best booking engines. Now you have a good car to drive. You have the drivers, and you have the car.
Great, I really like the way you describe the website design. Just two key things. One, be clear on your USP in the website, and two, be clear on why they should book direct.
Correct.
Simple, good advice. Any disagreements with that? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think design means different things to different people. I think it's
agree.
more, experience than it is design. It doesn't matter if your site looks good to you. One, because you're probably not your target audience a lot of times. But two, it's about whether or not it works. Is it useful for the guest? Do they find it easy to make a booking? Do they actually go on and make a direct booking? That's really what matters on a website. So I would argue it's experience versus design, but that's up to interpretation. But I also do agree on the, in general with the booking engine and the website being critical, hence it's my foundation. So this is similar to yours too, because I think a website can look pretty and work well, but if the information on the website is garbage, if it's not useful to the guest, then what good is having a website? So content is and always will be king. And when you look at what Google tries to do every day, several years ago, people tried to game the system, chase the algorithm on Google, and a lot of people got some short-term gains from that. But what they inevitably found out was Google was very, very smart, right? They employ a lot of people that are a lot smarter than me and probably smarter than some of the folks in this room. And what they started doing is looking at all the ways people were gaming the system and started closing the gap. And today, Google really cares about one thing and one thing only, which is marrying the searcher intent with the best, most valuable content. And how they measure that and how they tweak their algorithm is really looking at three things. It's looking at content, it's looking at user interaction through their RankBrain algorithm, and then it's looking at some proxies like links and things like that. And Google stated this is fact, this isn't conjecture. So content on the website and off the website, and this is again where I'm cheating a little bit, content throughout the web. So going through and making sure that your citations on all your local listings are up to date and fully informative, making sure that your Google My Listing is fully fleshed out and that your FAQs, back to Charlie's point earlier, are fully fleshed out. But most importantly, making sure that when someone comes to your website, that you anticipate and answer every single question that may be asked. And there's a trick that we work with our clients on to accomplish this. We sit down with the reservation staff, we sit down with the GMs, we sit down with the front desk folks, we sit down with the housekeeping, we sit down with the maintenance, and we compile a list and say, what are the questions you get asked? Every question you've ever been asked. And we compile that into a big long list, and then we start to look for patterns. We start to look for what is it the guest wants to know prior to booking, during the stay, and after the booking. And from that, we then create a content calendar, and we start building out the content to answer those questions. And it's not just having an FAQ page on the site, although that's really important. It's figuring out which questions is the guest going to ask at which points in the journey. So if I know that when people get to the booking engine, they care about the size of the rooms or the amenities in the rooms, then making sure that information, those answers are answered there when they're looking for them, before they even ask it. So content is going to convert more people. A lot of times people will come to your website. We did a study earlier this year, a leisure travel study, to over 2,000 people. And one of the questions we asked them was, did you visit the hotel website before making a booking? Even if they went to an OTA and booked, over 90% of people said yes, they visited the hotel website. So why is it that people get to the hotel website and then choose to book on Booking.com or Expedia or TripAdvisor or Google or one of these other things? We believe it's two things. One, the website isn't doing as good a job at answering the questions, but two, there's too much friction in the process as well. So we solved that on the booking side by creating a mobile-friendly booking engine that works really well and uses psychology to push people through the funnel. But we also solved that by providing answers to questions. And what you see is if over 90% of people are coming to your website, then we want to close 90% of people. We want to be 10% or lower reliant on OTA. Now that's a long stretch goal because some people are always going to book with OTAs, but that should be where you're going for. And this is the second part of this bridge, which is, I said SEO, but it's really search in general, okay? I'm cheating again because I like to cheat, but SEO, instead of thinking that of as search engine optimization, the action of getting people to rank on search engines, think of that of how can I optimize my presence on search in general. So I'm going to include in this organic search, which for reference to the earlier conversation, the organic listings used to be 300 pixels from the top of the screen about 2 years ago. Now they're 900 pixels from the top of the screen. So it's harder to get organic traffic than it ever was, but it's still the #1 source for a lot of people is organic search. But also Google My Business, Google Hotel Ads, brand PPC, broad PPC, all these things that we can do on search. We've built the base, we've built the foundation, we've built the plumbing, we built the staff training and the tracking mechanism. Now let's start driving traffic. We can do that by creating great content and then catching people when they're looking for us through search.
Great, okay, thank you. Any interjections, questions, SEO tips? No, we'll move straight on. Great.
All right.
I'm going to try and build up defenses to your walls. I think they're going to fall. In the background here.
My summer as a bricklayer is paying dividends right now.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Oh no,
That's all right.
Spoke too soon.
Got you.
Thank you.
I think these might be safer together.
That happens when you cheat that much.
Yeah, it is. It's the cheating never prospers, is it? Here we go.
Okay, right. Pablo, tell us what's next.
All right, so now we have a good car, we have a great web design. I agree with Stuart. He was talking more about the experience that they design. A good web design experience, a best-in-class booking engine. Now you're ready to drive traffic to your website. Many hotels start driving traffic to their website when they don't have the good technology, when they have parity issues, when they have their teams that are not aligned. So they're spending a lot of money and it's not working. When you have everything in place, you can start driving traffic. Which is the most qualified traffic? Let's start with it. Forget about SEO, forget about generic keywords, forget about social, focus on the most qualified traffic, which is today Google Ads by brand, Google Ads or Bing Ads or Yahoo Ads or whatever ads by brand, which is brand marketing. That means protecting the people who are searching for you. So you did the most difficult job, which is making a customer look for your hotel. And now you're losing the battle, sorry, because Booking or Expedia overbid you on Google Ads, right? So you have to take all that traffic back to your website because these customers are looking for you. But if you ask an average Joe in the street, what's the website of the hotel? Oh, already visited it because they thought the Booking.com site was the official website. I have a hotel client who told me, oh, we just got a call and asking for a price, and I told him it's €100, $100, and okay, just thank you, bye. And they book, and the customer got it to the hotel. Oh, just book through Booking.com. Oh, why? But you just called me. Oh, because I was visiting your website. It was very convenient. So book it. But that's not my website. Oh, I thought it was your website. So customers don't differentiate an OTA compared to an official website, or at least not all customers do it, right? So absolutely brand marketing, this is a must, because Google used to protect the brands, but it doesn't anymore, right? At least in Europe, if you had your brand properly registered, You could ask Google to prevent others bidding with your brand, but not anymore. That doesn't happen anymore. So you have to be here. And the other source of qualified traffic is meta search. Meta search today is 95%. Is 95% of that traffic that is brand traffic. It's people who is looking for your hotel, right? So you have to be there, especially if you don't have parity issues, especially if you have a unique value proposition. So if you have all these foundations, these 3 stories, you are ready for meta search and brand marketing. You will get the best ROI for your investment. You can do it without having this, but you will lose a lot of money. And you will tell, oh, okay, meta search doesn't work. I'm tired of listening to, oh, meta search is too expensive. It doesn't work, which is not true.
Yeah, you're right. We definitely see that with a lot of hotels trying meta search. Some hotels, they can have the same booking engine, but they haven't got as good parity, so meta search doesn't work. Or they've got good parity, but a poor booking engine and meta search. It's the combination. Okay, good. It's wavering, but not yet falling over.
No, it will not.
Strong wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would agree with both of those. The brand marketing falls into my cheating SEO, and meta search is very important, but not as important as CRM. And that means different things to different people as well. To me, it's communication with the guest. And we're all here because of the guest. That's the most important part of hospitality. And the best way to build relationships with a guest is by communication. And that's across the board. That's the text message we all got when we checked into the hotel here. That's the emails reminding us that we have a trip coming up. That's a push notification to an app saying that you can do mobile check-in. So any kind of guest communication is likely going to affect the relationship. And if you do it right, CRM can be the #1 ROI generating marketing initiative you have, because you have a captive audience of people that you know information about. Data is something that is very, very important to me. That's why I prioritize analytics. But the more you collect information on the guest and do it in the proper way so that we don't all get more legislation than we already have, the more you collect data, the more you can understand the guest, the more you can improve the relationship. Every time you interact with a guest, you're either going to improve the relationship or you're going to erode the relationship. And the job with CRM is to always try to improve the relationship by adding value. Don't think about CRM from, what do I get out of it as a hotelier? How much money will I make? Although that's nice, money is a byproduct of creating great relationships. So what value can I provide to my guest through communication? What can I tell my guests about? How can I drive them back to my content or back to my website to drive more value in the relationship and ultimately build loyalty to the guest? And to me, again, you might have noticed there's a theme here. I'm cheating a little bit here. So I'm going to use loyalty as a broad term, meaning having a great relationship with the guest, and meaning that the guest becomes an advocate for my brand and for my property. So loyalty starts to me with offering a great relationship, a great product, maybe incentives. And there's folks out there like Guest Books here today. I know they were outside exhibiting. To me, that's more rewards, but I kind of bundle rewards and loyalty together because it's about, again, building the relationship. So giving guests incentives to book direct by saying, hey, you get faster Wi-Fi, or you get cash back, or you get free this or free that if you book direct. Because again, if 90% of people are coming to my website, but a lot of them are choosing to go to the OTAs, if we've already fixed the friction problem, if we've already fixed the content problem, then I want to really nail that home by saying, here's even more. Not only do we make it easy and simple for you to book, but you get more value out of it through the loyalty and the rewards. And then once you build that loyalty, the best form of marketing you can have is when your guests turn around and become your marketing advocates. When they go to social media and share their photos and share their experiences and share their stories. And I was having a conversation with a lady earlier that uses a product called Flip2, which anyone else use Flip2 in this audience? It's a very popular product that we recommend to a lot of our clients. What it does is it turns guests into advocates through gamification, but it collects stories from the guests, and then you can turn these stories into your own marketing initiatives. You can put them in your email campaigns. They look authentic, because they are authentic. You can take the things that your guests value about your property and start making that the center point of all of your marketing communication. So loyalty / rewards / advocacy / all the other things in CRM are the next level on my wall.
Great. One of my favorite loyalty stories, I met a hotelier from Dubai who found that so many guests, particularly in the Middle East, were booking via booking.com repeatedly again and again and again. That he made someone's half their job was to every day give him a list of who are the guests who are checking in, who've booked through booking.com and stayed with us multiple times. And if anyone hit 10, then he would personally, the GM would say, right, I want to give them a free drink and come and have a chat with me because I want them to meet me, and so I can actually spend an hour with them expressing how I'd like our relationship to be in the future. But just put real effort into identifying loyal guests, they just happen to be loyal OTA guests, and turn them into direct bookers.
Yeah, and that kind of plays back down to staff training. I think having your staff understand, especially the front desk staff, understand why does it matter? Why does the hotel care if the guest is booking through a third party? Well, one, there's profit argument, but two, you can give them a better experience if you collect their data. And to the Google answer earlier, I agree, a book on Google is a direct booking because you do collect the guest data. You can communicate with them and do all these things and nurture the relationship. So, and I think Dan mentioned earlier too, you should always have a goal of if someone books via a third party first time, great. Third parties are excellent at finding guests that you cannot find. They are going to rank for keywords that you have no business or don't deserve to rank for. So if you're an individual hotel in Miami, don't even try to rank for hotels in Miami. It's a waste of effort. You should focus on lower hanging fruit. But guess what? Expedia's ranking there, Tripadvisor's ranking there, Booking's ranking there. So you're going to collect guests that way, and that's great for a first-time guest. But do everything you can through staff training to collect their contact information at check-in, and then make sure through your CRM and through loyalty programs, offering them incentives and a reason to book direct next time. If they book a second time or a third time or a fourth time or a 10th time through a third party, you're doing it wrong. You're just plain and simply doing it wrong. It's better for you, it's better for the guest if they book direct.
Okay, great, thank you. Right into the last one, so where hopefully we don't fall over. We'll see how we do. I think if I move these a little bit this way, that might help.
I usually play with the kids, so it should work. Move in the back.
I think that might go. I can put an angle here. We've got one. Or maybe go across the top. No, I think, oh gosh, okay. I'll hold it, at least while you talk.
Did it work?
Oh, no, there we go. We're good. No walking around on this stage.
All right, so following the story, I'm not sure if you know, but OTAs generate easily 20% of your bookings bidding on your name. And that's an impressive number. So you're competing with OTAs with brand marketing. And there is another 15 to 20% that comes through meta search. So if you bid in brand marketing meta search, you are trying to compete with OTAs for 40% of the total sales of OTAs. So now you are playing hard, right? But what do OTAs great that you don't do is knowing your customer, know your client. OTAs know much better your clients than you do. And it's sad because the client spends maybe 7 minutes in Booking.com or Expedia, and they spend 3 days in your hotel. But still, Booking and Expedia know much better how your client behaves, where they start searching, why they book mobile, why they book at night, why they book an upper or superior room instead of a standard. They know everything, and you know nothing. Well, PMS systems don't help, right? They're usually bad, obsolete, and know nothing about your clients. All of them are from Afghanistan, or 80% of your clients are from Afghanistan, which is nuts. You don't feed the PMS properly either. That doesn't help. But you can start understanding your client, building a CRM on top of the PMS or in the PMS. It doesn't matter. Repeated clients, why they chose your hotel, why they are coming twice a year or 3 times per year. Before coming here to live, you usually come to Miami, I don't know, once per 2-3 years. And I always went to the same hotel. And the hotel didn't know I was going to the same hotel. And I always booked through Expedia because it was cheaper, more convenient, and faster. And the hotel didn't know a word about me. And that's sad. But it's something you can easily fix. Because you have, remember, trained staff. The owner is paying you for money to build a CRM. You're protecting your brand bids. Now with the CRM, you can target your clients and make them come again. right? How email bookings, like email marketing, email bookings, that will definitely help. Email marketing is probably one of the most efficient marketing channels. If you have proper data, segmented data, and you target, you send emails to people who want to receive emails, which is a huge difference, right? So, of course, all of them are important, but to me, this is the story you need to build. But sadly, this is my experience after 20 years, hotels tend to start from the ceiling, right? They start building a CRM without data, without proper PMS, without staff that is trained. They start bidding to everywhere, even generic keywords such as hotels in Miami, such as Stuart said, without having a good website, a good booking engine, with huge parity problems, with nothing to offer unique in their websites, in the direct channel, the staff that is not trained, and incentives that are not aligned. So hotels love starting from the top instead of the bottom. Why? Does somebody know why? Because this is the no conflict area. This is easy to do, CRM. This is easy to do, it's the money of the owner. And this is difficult to do. Training the staff, aligning incentive, controlling parity, this is a pain. But you have to do it. Finding unique value proposition. This is not easy because Booking and Expedia will call you and ask you for the same benefits. So start from the bottom and go to the top instead of otherwise.
Great, excellent. Thank you very much. Stuart.
Yeah, can I push back on that one? Yeah, I think it's crazy that meta search is more important to you than CRM.
Well, I think it's a natural path. This is something you can do without CRM. CRM takes time. You need time, money, and knowledge. Meta search, with all this, you can start playing. But for sure, CRM is I'm not saying it's not important.
Right.
I'm saying it's just the proper, one step at a time.
Yeah.
To me, this is PhD, this is university, this is high school, this is primary, this is kindergarten. Right?
Even though the kindergarten's the hardest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you cannot do PhD without high school.
Right.
That's how I see it.
Got it.
Yeah, learning to read in kindergarten was always the toughest. So I kind of worked a little opposite. So I focused on the plumbing and the foundation, and then kind of built into the guest communication and helping the guest, because again, it's all about the guest. And then I built up to the distribution side. So again, just because I wanted to cheat on every row, meta search, to be on meta search, you probably also are on OTAs, right? Because otherwise there's not a lot of point being on meta search, because if you're not on OTAs, then they're not showing up for your brand. So meta search / OTAs. Again, to my last point, OTAs are a great source of new business, but you want to compete against them on your brand, on every channel you can. You want to be in front of them. You deserve to be in front of them. A lot of times it's cheaper to be in front of them. So definitely meta search is a good way to attract guests, but also make sure, again, you're driving them to your content, to your CRM. And then reputation is something that I think is overlooked and really, really important. And reputation kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier with advocacy. What is the sentiment about your property? Over 95% of people read reviews before they make a booking decision, okay? So if you're not paying attention to your online reputation, then you're missing a huge opportunity, because answering a review isn't about giving satisfaction back to that guest, that individual guest that maybe left a negative review on TripAdvisor. It's about sending a signal out to the world that you care deeply about your guest and that your reputation matters. So when someone leaves a review, it's not about them, it's about the thousands of other people that are going to come and read that review. So one of the other things we picked up in the study that we did was we asked people, do you trust reviews in different channels differently? So we asked, what is the validity of a review on TripAdvisor versus your own website versus Google? And what we really found is there wasn't a lot of difference. People trust reviews on the hotel website almost as much as they do TripAdvisor. And over the last 5 years, we've seen TripAdvisor's brand value kind of erode as they've gotten into some interesting directions with things like sponsored positions, where you can rank anyone at the top of the listings. So reputation management, making sure that when people do find you on meta search or OTAs and then go do the research, because we don't want to make a booking that's going to get us in trouble, then make sure that your reputation is spot on, and then they will choose you. And then as a bonus, just to round it out, I also think to drive direct bookings, you should also listen to the Fuel Hotel Marketing podcast, because it's a great resource.
Great. Okay. Well, I think on that advert, as well as the Mirai blog, you should be reading.
Yeah, of course.
I think, unless there's maybe one question from the audience or a comment, something they've missed. Yes, one here. Quick. We're running. Okay.
If you're an independent hotel, like say one property, small boutique hotel, and you're sort of like a once-in-a-lifetime destination, if you change something of that, because it's harder to do loyalty when you don't have returning guests, basically?
Yeah, 100%. I think some of these immediately come out if you're a once in a lifetime. I think things like CRM are less important. Loyalty is less important. But I think I would probably flip these two at that point. I think this foundation is relevant regardless. Again, it's about having a great product at the beginning and being findable, and then building the relationship from there. So I'd probably flip the meta search and reputation with the CRM and loyalty. And
I guess the story you're telling, likely if it's a destination for, say, honeymoon, is also content SEO maybe becomes even more important. That's
possibly so. There's more decisions to make, right? There's more barriers the bigger the purchase. If I'm making my 15-year wedding anniversary trip, I'm probably going to be a little more diligent. I'm going to spend more time doing research. So it's really important that you do things like content really well, that you do manage your reputation, because that's a really, really important piece of the pie. And I would say, and this is using Dan's analogy earlier, I think in general, we tend to focus on the wand a lot, right? How are we doing this stuff? And I think what we should really be focusing on is the wizard itself. Like, what is the product? How should we be communicating with our guests? How should we be hospitable? How can we be an innkeeper? If we focus on the wizard and less on the wand, I think regardless of whether you're a once-in-a-lifetime destination or somewhere that people are going to come every year, I think you're going to be okay.
Great. Well, I think on that note, I will finish. So focusing on the wizard first before the wand over here, and doing the tough stuff first. Getting people aligned, training your staff. Oh, there's one more question. Okay, one more question, then we've got to have a break.
Sorry. I was wondering why neither of you consider the retargeting, because you are talking to the ones that already are looking for a specific hotel, and I was wondering why don't you work on those that you don't captivate? Where's the retargeting?
Where's retargeting on your list?
Yeah, it was next on my list if we kept going.
But the thing is, we have to choose only 10.
Yeah.
But of course, on top of his 10s or his 12 and my 10, retargeting, display, prospecting, lots of initiatives you can do. But retargeting, you have to do it correct again with proper technology and everything solved. But absolutely, I completely agree. Retargeting is a must too.
Okay, on that note, I am going to call it to a stop. If you have further questions for these two gentlemen, they will be here and outside in the break and here for the next couple of days. I'm delighted to say. But I have one last thing, but as you go into the break, as I said, one of the keys to making direct booking summits successful, we have found in the past, is making sure that you guys slightly lose your inhibitions and go and talk to people you don't know, who aren't from your hotel. So please, in this break, take the opportunity, go up to someone and say, what have you been doing in direct bookings that work well for you this year? And enjoy your teas and coffees. Thank you.